It's the SMT Media Network. Welcome back to this video, this channel, where we've been talking a lot of NBA hoops. I want to talk about the Denver Nuggets. Man, what a solid win for that squad, beating the Dallas Mavericks 118-99. This was a Jamal Murray game. Jamal was fantastic. He actually was probably player of the game if you got to pick one. All right, he dropped 45 points in 37 minutes of action. Really did a lot of shot taking. He took 26, made 26, had 26 attempts, made 18, was 5 of 9 from 3. He was hot. 4 of 4 from the free throw line, 45 points. Guys, Jamal Murray's capable of doing this. That's not unusual for him to drop 40 plus in a game. Michael Porter Jr. got you 13. Joker, only 10 points, but in typical Joker fashion, he was kind of running the show. 10 assists, 14 rebounds, and, he had a couple of steals, 1 turnover. Russ played decent, only got you 9. Turnover is a little high at 4. We'd like to see that number under 4. And in fact, the same could be said about Jamal Murray with 5 turnovers, but he really did a lot of scoring. So these are the types of games, even though those guys did turn over the ball, they did score. That's for sure. Off the bench, Aaron Gordon got you 8. Watson got you 9. DeAndre Jordan got you 8. A little bit off the bench, but really it was the starters. This game was never in doubt. Right, when I look at the way this game broke down, the Nuggets were in control the whole way. They went plus 15 after 1. They added another 11 after 2. Right, so, they were up big going into the fourth quarter. So the game was never really in doubt. Obviously, Luka is still down, and he's out of the lineup. But Kyrie was back in the lineup, and it really didn't change the outcome. But I want to talk about the Nuggets and where they currently stand in the Western Conference, because very quietly, things are looking up for the Nuggets, and a lot of credit needs to be given to the duo of Russell Westbrook and Nikola Jokic. Now, the other guys have been playing better too, but it's those two guys that set the stage for this team. Russell's giving you solid minutes. He's getting you points, creating offense. He's got the energy, right? He seems to complement Joker really well. And Joker, as steady as they come, right? This guy's a legitimate MVP candidate. This team is good because Joker is great, right? And then the thing is when you have a guy like Joker, a player that is that good, that dynamic, that reliable, that dependable, you just need some other guys to step up, on a game-to-game basis, right? So, like, some games it's Russ. Some games, it's Michael Porter Jr. knocking down some shots. Some games, it's going to be Jamal Murray when he's getting the hot hand. You feed him the ball, right? And Joker's a pretty intelligent guy. He knows where to send the ball, put the ball, deliver it, help his players, find ways to get buckets and help the team. And that's why I think the Nuggets are arguably one of the better teams in the Western Conference. I know who the Thunder are. They're the best in the West. And I know who the Rockets are. They're a young, up-and-coming team that is playing really well this year. But there's something to be said about a champion, inexperienced bunch like the Denver Nuggets, who have kind of done it before, right? And I think what the Nuggets are kind of doing is they're figuring themselves out. Michael Malone, the head coach, is going to be tasked with getting these guys in a groove, finding the rotations that work, getting consistency out of the supporting cast along with Joker. He's got something good going on with Russ, trying to find that balance, keep Jamal Murray kind of in that consistent role of being that scorer that we know he could be. And things kind of seem to be working pretty nicely. Some nights you get some good production out of Christian Brown. Sometimes, it's going to be Aaron Gordon, and it just depends on the night. Guys, that's what good teams do in the NBA. You can't get a triple-double every game. You can't score 20-plus every game, right? Certain players have certain nights where they do really well, and you take that, and you're thankful for it as a team, right? Like, they come through, they help you get a win. Some nights, that same guy won't have it. Somebody else has to step up. That's the NBA. Even Joker has clunkers from here and there, and he's a multiple-time MVP, a champion, regarded as, some say he's the best player in the NBA. I'm not going to sit here and argue that. He definitely is worth that consideration. But you need guys to step up from time to time. Different guys, different nights. It just depends, right? Whatever players can get you on a nightly basis. The Nuggets currently stand in 4th in the West. 8-2 in their last 10. They've won 4 in a row. They're scoring points reliably. The offense seems to be getting pretty sharp, right? They're figuring out what they want to do in different ways to get points. Defensively, there's still things that they could fix. I would not describe them as a good defensive team, but I would say that they are better than they were earlier in the season. And if they continue in this direction, Michael Malone pushing all the right buttons, guys getting in their roles. Remember, you can't be great every game. These role players have their moments, and you just have to take it as it comes, right? So the thing about the Nuggets, it's Christian Brown, it's Michael Porter Jr., it's Russ, it's Jamal. They just need 1 or 2 of those guys to step up on any given night, and Joker can do most of the lifting. And for what Russ is doing for this team, he could do some of that lifting too. This team is firing on all cylinders currently. In my estimation, I look at some of the games they got up and coming. I think they've got a lot of winnable games. So just recently, like coming off of this Mavericks win, they beat the Mavericks on Sunday. So they got 2 wins on the Mavericks in the last week. They beat the Nets last week. They beat the Clippers last week. All of this since they lost to the Celtics back in the first week of January. They got the Rockets coming up. That's going to be a tough game. They got the Heat coming up. They're going to Miami. That's going to be a tough game. And then they got the Magic away. And then they got they're back home against the Sixers, Kings, and then they're going to Minnesota. Those are some winnable games. There are some challenges there. But I think the Nuggets are up for that challenge. I think the team is playing as good as they've been playing all year. And I think if they come out of that little bit of a away swing, you know, the +1 in the win column or maybe +2, I mean, they got to feel good about the direction of the team. And then once they, you know, play Minnesota, it's against the Bulls. And then there's a pretty big game against the Knicks. I would say that's a good barometer, right? They're going to go away, play the Knicks, and then away at the Sixers. And then that kind of rounds out January. So kind of I'd say some good challenges there for the Nuggets, but I like their chances to get some wins in that stretch. They're playing a good brand of basketball right now, something that seems to be working for them. They've got some wins against some good teams. I think they're capable of beating some of the good teams they got up on their schedule. Joker, right? He is an MVP candidate for sure. Russ, a career renaissance after being exiled out of LA wrongfully, in my opinion. And then Jamal Murray, capable of dropping huge points in any given game. Just getting consistency out of some of those bench guys, they can rip off a lot of wins. Do not sleep on this team. This team is capable of creeping into the top 3 within the next couple of games, get past the Grizzlies. They'll be within a couple games of the Rockets. They've got a game against the Rockets. They can close that gap. Are they going to catch the Thunder? Probably not. I got the Thunder, obviously finishing number 1 in the West. But there is a version of this where the Denver Nuggets keep cooking, just get consistent. They're finishing 2nd in the West. That is very much a possibility. They're going to have to fight for it. The Rockets are going to be right there. And obviously the Grizzlies, they're there as well. So we'll see what happens. What do you guys think, actually? Where do you guys think the Denver Nuggets finish out the year? Do you guys think they finish in the top 2? Do you think they finish in the top 3? Or do you think they're going to be hanging around this little purgatory of 4 or 5 or kind of like there in the middle? What's your take on that? And obviously health is always the key factor, right? Guys being healthy, you can obviously get a lot of wins. But I like the trend that Denver is going. They're playing good basketball. Shout out to Mike Malone, Russell Westbrook for kind of stabilizing things, steady as they come, Joker, and then Jamal with his breakout games for sure. The Nuggets they're good. They're a good team. They're not the Thunder, but I think they are the 2nd best team in the West, in my opinion. What's yours?